Hello, everyone, everything, and everywhere. Welcome back to yet another Krambld. Now, today we're gonna be playing some Dredge. I realize it's also been like over a year since I played this game, so I'm gonna be a bit rusty. But basically, this was a request by Will because I haven't done a Krambld video in too long, and I decided that I would do it in his honor. So basically, oh dear, probably sell this stuff, right? Basically, this Krambld is going to be about like Burnout and stuff like that, right? So I have um I don't think I can do anything with that. I've had my fair share of Burnout, right? I have done a lot of Burnout stuff, I guess. I don't know. Okay, this is why this is a ramble channel, right? And I'm rusty. I'm rusty to this game. I'm rusty to rambling. I haven't rambled in too long. But basically, I've had my fair share of Burnout, right? And it sucks. It sucks because whenever I get Burnout, I always want to do something, but I can never figure out what that thing I want to do is. I think the main thing that I can think of most recently would probably be Whimscraft Season 2, right? Because of the fact that I had that moment in between where I just completely like lost motivation. You know, I wanted to work on my bass, but I just didn't know what at my base I wanted to work on. I didn't know how I wanted to work on it. It was like, it was very, very weird. Let me change my volume a bit. Okay. It was very weird. And I hated that feeling. That feeling sucks. Because especially in the YouTube world, right? The YouTube world, it's grind, right? If you stop uploading, you get left behind and you never catch up, right? And I'm still playing that catch-up game. Oh, it's getting nighttime. We should probably sleep. I'm still playing that catch-up game because I am kind of chasing that high of, you know, what I once had. Because there was a moment where I was getting like, you know, a couple hundred views per video. And, you know, that was great. But then I took my break and I just never really recovered from that, you know? Like, I'm not really complaining because I'm not doing this to get a huge audience, right? My main goal is to have a strong community. That's like my dream. I don't care about having like millions upon millions of subscribers that like give me so much money. Like I honestly don't care about that kind of stuff. What I do care about is having a kind, loving community that I can fall back on, laugh with, have fun with, and just, you know, like have good times. And it's very tricky to build that community when you are burnt out, right? Because it's, you know, the same thing. It's always just grind, 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 grind. And in this current YouTube landscape of, okay, like short form content is, everyone is going at it, you know? It's scroll to the next TikTok, scroll to the next TikTok, scroll to the next reel, YouTube short, whatever. It's always just quick, 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 quick. So burnout sucks, not only for yourself, but for your channel too. Because it completely just leaves you in the dark. But what I find helps with burnout is obviously taking a break. And I know not everyone can do that, right? It's not an option for everyone to just take a break. And I think that's something that is commonly looked over. People are like, oh, you're burnt out, just take a break, you know? But I think a lot of people fail to account for the people who that's not really an option for them, you know? It's something like time sensitive, or it's something for their job that they don't really have control over. You can't always be like, yeah, I'm just taking a break here, you know? Which sucks, because that is legitimately one of the best ways to get rid of burnout. And of course it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work, and that's fine. But ooh, special thing. Gray eel. Put you where that guy is. I feel like the only other way I can really think of, like right now, is the idea of just trying something new. It doesn't matter if it works or not. Just, you know, trying can sometimes just be enough. Because when dealing with burnout, when dealing with burnout, a lot of the time, it's not about the other people watching, it's about you, right? And so it sucks, it really does. But also getting some like new inspiration too. Going on something like Pinterest, or just like browsing YouTube or something like that. Just something in general to kind of refuel your love of whatever you do. Because obviously there's many different ways to... You want me to attach it now? Sure. I'm gonna give you the flag too. There's many different ways to gain inspiration and stuff, right? And there's so much stuff out there that it's like it's tricky, you know. It's really tricky. Burnout is an uphill battle, and what I've gained from my experience, or what I've felt from my experience, I guess, is just the feeling of, like I said earlier, no, oh, I didn't, Didn't sell. Yikes. The feeling of wanting to do something, but not doing anything. You know? Because burnout, I mean, it's basically like writer's block in a way, right? And of course, I don't understand it from other people's perspective. Everyone handles burnout. It's like grief, you know? Everyone handles it their own way. It's not my place to tell you, oh, you should do this and you should feel great. If you don't do it, that's your fault. Like, no. We all have, you know, problems. We all blah, blah, blah. But, oh my god, $60. All right. But it's like, what I can tell you is that just trying something new, maybe even doing what you do already, but just in a different way, can be enough to kind of replenish that feeling. But I don't know. I feel like it's been tough. It has been tough. And I'd be lying if I said it wasn't tough, right? It's very difficult to be a smaller creator, right? And I don't want this to be like a, oh, woe is me, blah 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 blah, oh, it's so horrible being me. Like, I don't want to do that. But what I am saying is, it sucks to put so much like work and effort into something and it just not pay off. I think the biggest payoff was 100% the Canoes gaming video, right? I would not be where I am today without the Canoes gaming video, and I thank Canoes for that, right? Ooh, yucky. And that was a video that I am legitimately proud of, and I am so glad that that video did well. Because there are certain instances where, you know, hard work does pay off. I'm not saying you should be like, oh, this isn't gonna pay off if I try hard on it, so I'm not even gonna try hard on it. No. Try hard on it, because especially with YouTube, a lot of it should be just for you, right? You should make the content for you, and then if you aren't proud of it, then that lies with you. It's not on some external factor on if the other random people floating out on the internet like it. You know, you should be the one that fully controls your enjoyment of what you do and what you make and all that. So I don't think, and of course if you want to grow, sometimes you have to make sacrifices, but I don't think you should focus solely on one or the other, right? It has to be a healthy balance of you and the audience. And it also depends on what your goal is, right? If you're planning on being a full-time creator, then yeah, you're gonna have to focus on the community a bit more than yourself, unfortunately. But you've been seeing this a lot more with bigger creators recently. It's been like a lot of creators who are bigger and already have their audiences have started making content just for themselves, right? And I think it's kind of to depart from the YouTube landscape we have become a part of with the Mr. Beastification, where we, everything has to be super hyper edited and crazy, and like, he recently came out with like the AI thumbnail thing, which is crazy. Like, I saw someone comment this, and they're like, the irony of the fact that the channel started off as a bunch of thumbnail designers. It's like, yeah. And here's the thing. Yucky. My take on AI is get it out of the arts, right? I don't think it should be incorporated into the arts. I think it has its place. I don't think it should be totally disregarded. I think if we look at everything that uses AI and frown down upon it, that's only going to lead to worse stuff, right? And it's mostly because it's become such a buzzword. Like, before it, AI was used in a ton of stuff before it really became like what it is now, right? But now whenever AI is mentioned in something, it's immediately frowned down upon. Which I think, if it's, like I said, if it's in the arts, I think it should be frowned down upon. But I think it does have the opportunity to be a very useful tool that can be implemented in a lot of great ways. Like, think about it in the medical field, Obviously, you wouldn't use it, like, in its current state, right? You would have to train it, you have to work on it, all that. But, there's just no way that one person can, know a ton of this medical knowledge. Like, obviously people go to medical school for that. But it's like, people make mistakes, right? But a machine who knows everything and doesn't have to reach into the recesses of their brain, try and figure out what they're thinking about, that can be a great tool that should be looked into being further utilized. Now, I also think it should also be run by a person, right? I don't think the AI should be the final say in anything. I don't think it should be like, oh, AI said this, it's this, right? But I just think completely disregarding it is putting a lot of unnecessary, like, burden on it, right? And I guess, like, connecting this back to Burnout, a lot of creators are having that burnout because of AI. And I understand that. In the creator space, it's horrifying, right? We've seen what happened with, like, Kwebbelkop and all that. It's bad. Like, there is an AI pandemic on the platform. And it makes sense why it shouldn't be long on the platform, right? This is YouTube, not like some machine tube, But I don't know. I think it sucks because it's taking jobs. I mean, you see, like, what MatPat's doing in, like, the House of Representatives and stuff. He's having, like, that stuff where he is bringing up the topic of creators because it is such a larger space than it was before. Before, it's like, someone just recording themselves for a living? That's absurd. Now it's like, so many people, that's a livelihood for them, right? So I love MatPat. He's doing great. I love how how he decides to spend his retirement is going through politics. That's great. But ooh, squid? I don't remember what. Oh, it's just 2. But it's like, yeah, it's scary. We don't know. That's also the thing. It's the thing of we don't know, right? And what we do know comes from movies like Terminator and all that. We see things like Terminator, we get scared, we take them at face value. And I'm also, I mean, I brought this up in the hate video, or the anger video. I'm just not a hater. I hate to hate on things, right? So I can acknowledge when things are bad. But I think to acknowledge things are bad, you also have to acknowledge things that are good, right? You can't, one cannot exist without the other, right? Good cannot exist without bad, and bad cannot exist without good, right? That's just a fact, right? If good is gone, bad becomes normal. If bad is gone, good becomes normal. Like, it's not like they have to be both there to, oh wow, this guy's a hefty guy. They have to be there, and sometimes it sucks because they have to have necessary evils, and it sucks. Just like Burnout. Wow, bring it full circle. But it's like, yeah, I think having Burnout isn't something you should be like ashamed of, right? Anyone who does anything has had Burnout, right? Like, I think admitting you have Burnout is the best thing, the first step you should do, right? Because saying you have Burnout and then immediately 100 schmackrels and then finding a way to deal with that burnout is great, you know? But you can't take that step until you've, oh man. Okay, well, let's go spend that money we just made. But you can't do that without first admitting it. And there's no shame in it. It's not anything crazy, you know? I just think it's tricky because you have to balance the idea of laziness and, I guess, burnout and like intentional. I don't want to say low effort, but like, you know, because I don't put I don't put like a ton of editing into my videos. I mean, obviously I don't edit these videos, right? Because it's a ramble. It shouldn't be edited. But on my main channel uploads, I don't put a lot of editing on it because, ooh, yucky. Because I prefer that more, you know, personality driven approach where you are focused in on the person and not like just the content. And I think that's what, you know, people like Mr. Beast struggle with, is if he becomes poor, who's gonna watch his content, right? How many people watch Mr. Beast for like his personality and not like all the money he spends, right? I haven't watched Mr. Beast in like a long time, so I don't really know what he's up to these days besides AI thumbnails, right? But I don't know. I think it sucks. It sucks. It does. It sucks. But admitting it sucks, doing something about it. I think that's another common misconception, is the fact that if you can just wait it out. And if you try and wait out burnout, it's not gonna go away. Like, I've tried it, it just makes it worse. It just makes it worse. Because what you're doing is you're saying, hey, I see you need some time to, you know, recuperate, kind of get your ideas back and all of that. I understand, but I'm not gonna help you do that. You can just, you know, think of stuff on your own, I guess. Like, you're basically telling your brain to fend for itself. And that's not cool. Ooh, that was sick. Oh man, that was not sick. So, and I don't see taking a break as a form of that, right? What I'm saying with like a lack of action, what I'm referring to is, like, say you're a content creator and you have burnout and you just continue to make content. Even though you know you have burnout, you just continue to pump out content, right? That's not taking out any action on it. And that's just gonna make it worse. It's gonna make it worse to a point where it impacts your content. You're not gonna be happy with what you make. And then because you're not happy with what you make worse content. And then it's an endless cycle that is just continuously getting worse and 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 worse. So be gentle on yourself. Know your limits. I think knowing your limits is a very good skill to have. And unfortunately, I think it's a skill not many people do have. I think people tend to be like, oh, I can do anything. If I'm not doing this, I'm weak. I'm not on that grind set. You know, I'm doing blah, 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 blah. But, you know, if you don't know your limits, it's not gonna go well for you. Hate to say it, but it's true. Okay, I don't really know how to get in here. I know there's like, yeah, something. Yeah, explosions. I don't know how to get explosions. Do I have any explosion stuff? No. But yeah, knowing your limits is a very admirable skill that I feel like it's not talked about enough. It's kind of just, ooh. It's kind of just seen as like, oh, you quit early or something like that, you know? It's seen as kind of a sign of weakness when you can fully understand when to stop. And that's something I struggle with too, right? It's when to stop. Close down does nothing. Fire. I mean, you see this in my mining trips all the time. I do not know when to stop, and I constantly am just ruthlessly killed because of it. I'm punished. So, but I think that's a skill I don't quite have, is knowing my limits, knowing what I'm good at, knowing what I want to be good at, so how I can improve, yet not go all at once, right? Because you don't want to be like, oh, I want to do this and then not do any of the previous build up to it. Because there's a reason that, you know, like, say videos like that do well. It's because there's not many of them, because they're hard to make. You know, it's not, a lot of the time it's not easy to do what you want to do. I think it's a very important lesson. It's not easy to do what you want to do, but you should take strides to do what you want to do. Because it's gonna take time. But if you don't start that journey, right? Think about it. If a year from now you want to do something, right? A year from now you're like, oh, I really want to do this one thing. Cool. You can do that one thing. But the problem with it is that you can spend a bunch of time trying to get that one thing. So, by the time you maybe decide to start it, you really want it. And because you really want it, you want it now. But you can't have it now because you didn't start on it. And that's a tricky situation. It's a tricky situation that is not good. I don't know why I'm going out in the night. I should sleep. Yeah, it's very weird and off and bad. But it's, yeah. Like I said earlier, right? You have to have good to have bad. So you have to have burnout to have creativity, right? Don't view it as like a horrible thing. View it as something that helps you replenish your creative juices. And yeah, it sucks. But, you know, you do what you do, right? You take a break. You do whatever. Thinking about it while you're on that break is not going to help. It's going to do the opposite. So just do. Of course, I'm just some random guy online, right? Don't. If you know what works for you, do that. Okay, I'm not saying don't do what you do. Do what I do. Okay, do what I say because I know so much better than you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the people who don't know how they, you know, how they can go about getting rid of this, right? That's the people who I'm talking to. If you know what you need to do, that's great. I applaud you for it. That is fantastic. But there is a lot of people who just don't know what that part is. And yeah. Oh, okay. Can we sell, please? Holy moly. All right, it's been 34 minutes. I feel like I've probably rambled enough. I've gotten off topic very much. Oh, okay. Just gonna lightning strike just like that. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my Krambld. I know it's been a while. I'll try not to make it as long of as a break. I just didn't really have a lot of stuff to talk about. I might do one on like TV shows I've watched recently, because I want to talk about that somewhat. I know that kind of delves into interest, but you know, I can be more like specific and all that. But that is going to be it for this Krambld. I've talked enough. I'm kind of losing my voice. Funnily enough, I'm recording this right after we recorded Larger Than Life Session 3. So I've been talking for like basically almost like 3-4 hours straight. So I guess that's kind of like a long stream for me, but like still, I'm kind of losing my voice. But, and guys, so much for tuning in. See you hopefully soon. Toodles.